Hey, thanks for tuning in to Around the World in 80 Oysters, a live show that explores oyster appreciation, cuisine, and culture from around the world. I'm Julie Chu, and the founder of In a Half Shell and the founder of the show, oyster blogger, Instagrammer, and self-described oyster sommelier. So today, my special guest is Yeeran Davies, who is the co-founder and chief marketing officer for Thammanchart Seafood Retail Company, which is the largest operator of seafood counters in Thailand. So, actually, really good person to know if you love seafood. So, I'm going to bring on Yeeran now. Hello.
Hello,
Good evening.
and good evening to you too. I mean, good morning to you.
Yeah, we like, I
Breakfast
think,
yet?
not yet. I'm a little hungry, so I feel like this conversation is gonna make me even hungrier.
Yes, oyster brunch
Yes,
for sure.
exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining the show. I know that you have a busy family life, a busy business, so I hope that this conversation is going to be fun and we'll tell people a lot about oysters in Thailand. So, I guess to
Yeah.
start off, I'd love to know a bit more about your business and how you got into creating the Dock Seafood Bar, which is really focused around oysters.
Well, let me take you a little bit back, about our background.
Yep.
In 2008, we started our company and we managed seafood counters on behalf of our retailers. So that was five major retailers in Thailand. So we now have 200 seafood
Wow.
counters. Yeah, so we constantly travel to different countries, visiting our suppliers and in search of, the next oysters and seafood to bring in. So in the summer of 2011, we went to the Harrods in Knightsbridge, London, and then we saw this seafood bar, seafood and caviar bar, and we thought this is
Ah,
exactly it. It's
yeah.
like, wow, this is the concept, this is the inspiration that we need because we have a seafood counter. But we
Right.
want to connect people. We want to give them the experience that they can really taste, uh, our best quality seafood with very minimal preparation, or no preparation at all. Eating
Mm-hmm.
it raw. So that's how it all started. And we started with the Paragon, which is in the photos there, and that is the equivalent of Harrods of Thailand, so Siam
Okay.
Paragon. That was our first branch. And then it was really, we got very privileged because it was very successful and we have lots of customers. And then we opened with the the likes of Gallery Lafayette of Thailand is Central Food Hall, and we
Okay.
call it the Ocean Bars. So we have the dock and the ocean bars all together, 15 of them nationwide in Thailand.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
and how
amazing.
yeah, and it's great, because we love the seafood and we love tasting the food. So it's just we feel so privileged to be able to do something that we love and we earn the money out
Yeah,
of it as well.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
I have the photo of the dock which I got to visit, last summer. And I had the most amazing experience. So I totally understand that you wanted to bring that like just this wonderful, friendly, delicious, but really vibrant seafood experience to just everyday people. Like, how I'm
Yeah.
curious about like what what do your customers say? Like, what do they love most about oysters and how you present them?
Well, as seen in the photos, you're in the heart of the supermarket,
Yeah.
right? So, um, and you have the live tank of the oysters, the different species, the different varieties that you have there.
Yeah, I can see
So,
it.
the customer enjoy seeing the oysters and choose them,
Mm,
the live oysters, and then our staff will be there to guide them. And they can actually see and experience watching our staff chucking the oysters in front of them. So that is, something that our customers really like and they keep coming back for. And, being in the heart of supermarket, we find a lot of our regular customers are the husbands waiting for the wife, having a glass of champagne, and when the wife finishes, they meet together and then have another glass, why not?
yep.
And enjoy more oysters. And also we have gangs of girls, of the ladies, afterwards they come and they enjoy. So it's a way of, a place that you socialize and then having your best seafood and, so I think that's one of the reasons why
Well,
our customers keep coming back.
keep coming back. Is so the raw oyster bar idea, is that relatively new in Thailand? Or have people always enjoyed raw oysters?
Um, Raw oysters being enjoyed because as you see in Thailand, our food culture is huge. When you look at the historical books, every third page you will see, or you will see and learn about food. So oyster has been a big part, and people are eating it raw and eating it fried. So, but mostly more cooked. So when we
Okay.
introduce raw, it's something as a novelty, and it's more
Mm,
of the expat or the Thai people who's been overseas. But now more and more people really enjoy and appreciate the oysters as raw.
I see.
So
Do
yeah, it's
people do
changed a lot.
do local Thai usually just buy oysters on a regular basis to cook at home?
They normally wouldn't cook the oysters at home because I
Okay.
think it's there's more care into it, or you need to be more careful.
Yeah.
So normally you enjoy that at the restaurant. So you have them almost like the oyster fried with eggs. So
Yeah.
oyster pad thai
Oh,
you can have, and
I think I
also
have a photo of that. Yes. Let's see.
the
Oh, there you go.
hot pot style. Yeah, like that. It's so delicious. And the oysters
Oh.
raw, but then you have the chili paste and then the fried shallot and
Oh, this
the
is
herbs.
very, it seems very classic.
Yeah, this is something that Thai people enjoy, um, on the regular basis. Like maybe would be one of the dishes to order when they go to the restaurant. Yeah.
What is this called? Is there a name for this uh dish?
And the one on the left,
Yeah.
the raw one,
Yeah.
we call it หอยนางรมสดค่ะ and then you have it with the เครื่องเคียงis the condiment,
Okay.
right? And with the chili paste, which is เป็นน้ำพริกเผา in Thai. Yeah. And
Mm,
then the other one on the right hand side is the oysters being fried with eggs and a
this
bit of
one.
butter. And then with the vegetables inside. It's so good.
Ah,
But this
okay.
one is is my one of my favorites too. And then you eat with like sweet, sour, and chili sauce.
Oh,
You know.
yum. See, I
Yeah.
am getting hungry now.
So we call this one หอยทอด, and I mean it's worth all the calories, really.
Amazing. Now, um do you use local oysters then in these dishes?
Oh yeah. So on the left hand side, you can see this is one of the biggest species of the oysters. I mean, they are Pacific oysters. So the bigger ones you'll find them in the south of Thailand or in
Okay.
Surat, and is more famous for it. So on the
Got
left
it.
hand side is you can call them the Surat oyster, and then
Okay.
on the right hand side is more of the smaller oyster. We call them hoi ji,
Are they different
and these one
species?
they are grown in the eastern part. Yes, the one on the right hand side are much smaller,
Okay.
and the shell is much rounder. Um, so they around like coin size, like
Oh.
that. And yeah, coin side and quite round. Whereas the one on the left hand side is quite large. The shell is almost like the size of my palm
Oh,
here,
wow.
and the meat is as large as the shell
Oh,
inside. So it's
wow.
more meaty.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So
I
it's
so
very different.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
are these species, I guess I'm not familiar with, they're native to Thailand, but you don't really
Yeah,
see
they
them
are.
anywhere else?
Um, I don't think so because they are the one on the right hand side. They're like much smaller, and
Yeah.
they would pop in your mouth when you eat.
Yeah. Okay.
So
How
yeah,
cool.
and yeah, I know when next time you're here in Thailand, I'll take you around on the oyster tour, oyster
Yes.
adventure of Thailand, for
I know I
sure.
need to go back. Well, let's see. Well, speaking of the farm, oyster farms, I'm gonna see if I can pull up a map and show people where this is actually happening. So, all right, can you see Google?
There.
Yeah,
So
this
Surat
is
Thani.
this is Brooklyn, where I am. It defaults to here. So what should I type to find this place?
So you type Surat SU
SU.
RA
Uh, T.
THANI, I would say.
So wait. RAT
Surat Thani. So
AN. Oh,
SURA.
this one.
Yeah. So in the
Oh,
south part of Thailand there.
wait.
So
Okay,
if
zooming
you've
out.
been to, yeah,
Okay, so Bangkok is here, and I know,
yeah,
yes, so Thailand stretches down
yeah.
to reach
So
Malaysia, and then this
yeah,
area, you're, and on the Gulf
it takes
side.
you back to geography class now, right?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
You know what? I spent part of my honeymoon down, where is it? Like in
Phuket,
Colipe.
only
Colipe.
pay. That's very
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was. It was amazing.
yeah.
No,
The
also
white sandy beach.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Okay,
Mm.
so anyway, so Sratani, and I was really close to Koh Samui, which is
Yeah.
also
So
beautiful.
around the bay, like the Chaya Bay,
Here?
and around there. Yeah. So you will see a lot of the oysters are being grown around the bay and the estuary, and
Gotcha.
about 3,000 acres of land,
Wow.
farmland, and about 750
Goodness.
something farmers doing it. Yeah.
Cool. Wow, that's a lot. So are
Yeah.
they, do they only farm oysters or do they farm other things
Or they
in the
do
same
finfish
location?
as well. They do
Okay.
finfish. They do some other shellfish like the lobsters and stuff like that as well at the same
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And they will supply the local restaurants and the hotels around the area. And then when they have more, then they will just ship to Bangkok. But the price can be quite expensive because it's
Got it.
quite sought after. It's very
Got it.
famous for these large oysters. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Mm.
Hey, I've lost my, uh-oh, I lost my screen here. But I wanted to go back to some photos that you sent of the
On the
farm
farm, right? Yeah.
itself. Yeah. Here we go.
And
Wow.
I mean, next time when you come to Bangkok, I mean, you can. There are a lot of farms that are open as a farm tour, so they could take you through the farm and also have a nice tasting of oysters after the tour as well. It's
Oh, that's
also
so
very nice.
nice. Do they offer that to the public?
Yeah. Yes, they do. And I can also introduce you to some of the farm owners, and then we can have this exclusive tour
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh. It's amazing. Like I said, good person to
Oh,
know.
let's go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is the farming side. Actually, I had another question because I know that like pearl farms are quite popular too.
Yeah.
So is there a lot like are there more farms that are making pearls versus oysters for eating? And are they the same oyster?
You do have some farm owners that do both, but most of
Mm,
the time they are separate because the pearl oysters, as you know, it takes a lot of time and a lot of investment
hmm.
to growing it. And not all the pearl oyster will create good quality or pearl.
Pearls, yeah.
So it needs a lot of care and expertise to it. So a lot of the local farmers will start off doing the growing from the scratch, the little oysters, and selling as meat or as for oyster for eating. And the pearl one is more the one that is more commercially done and very full on research and
Yeah.
everything. So
I see.
it's
I see.
kind of
So
different.
got it. Two
Yeah.
different business models, business people. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So then
Different expertise required.
got it. So
Mhm.
the oyster farming here that you see, that's, I guess that is, I guess using suspension. Well, they're just like clusters sort of on ropes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing on ropes. Similar technique as the mussels one that you see in
Right.
Australia or in New Zealand. Yeah, it's growing on the rope. And then you have the ones that growing on the back.
Right.
You see in France as well. So there's different types,
Yeah.
of cultivating the
Yeah.
oysters in Thailand.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, for everybody who's watching, thanks so much for joining. Always forget to tell people that you can ask questions in the comments section of either Facebook or YouTube. So there's like a little bit of a lag when we get to see it, but we'll be able to see your questions. And at the end, we'll try and answer a couple of them if you have any. So sorry, I always forget to mention that at the beginning. But
Or if my English is not good enough, you can always tell me to repeat again as
oh
well.
my gosh, don't worry. It's perfect. So not to worry. Well, cool. So well that's amazing. Now, I imagine that most Thai people don't really know where their oysters are coming from, yet. I don't know. Is there any misperceptions about oysters that the local Thai people have, or is there anything that they think about oysters that is just completely not true?
Do you know that the oyster can be eaten during the vegetarian time?
The what time?
Vegetarian time. So
Vegetarian.
you have yeah. In Thailand, or in China, you have vegetarian festivals, and where people would practice during that time not eating anything and only focusing on the vegetables.
Really?
So for
Wait,
this,
wait, wait, wait. I've never heard of this time. What?
yes. So during this time, you're not allowed to eat meat, and you eat only vegetables.
Okay.
However, this belief or this legend about the oysters makes these oysters edible during vegetarian. It's the only meat thing
No
able
way.
to eat during this time. So yeah, so it goes back um, in historical time when people were still fighting about the religion. So this princess called Guanyin from China, she was in her own country. The king wanted to convert her to other religion or belief,
Hmm.
and she's a Buddhist. So he took her people to escape the war on a boat, and then during that journey on the boat, people were starving. There's no food to eat, so she put an oar into the ocean, and then thinking to herself, whatever she can catch from it, she's going
Hmm.
to feed that to her people, to her Buddhist people. And then she caught all these oysters. So the oysters gave their life to the Guanyin princess, the Buddhist Guanyin princess, to feed the people. So now the belief is that because the oysters give their life to the Buddhist people, so during the vegetarian time, you can eat the oysters, and that's why the oyster sauce has been created to then stir fry with the vegetables to feed people during this
Oh.
vegetarian time.
Oh my
So
gosh, that is so cool. I didn't know
yeah,
that. That's a great, oh
wow,
my gosh. Mind blown
yeah,
because like I always wondered where the heck did oyster sauce come from?
yeah. So it's all created because of that, and so you wonder why oyster sauce can be eaten during vegetarian because it's the oysters,
Ah,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's great. So how, like, do most people know that story, or do they just know that, oh, of course, like that makes total sense. You can eat oysters during the vegetarian
So
time.
you still have people who's very strict and
Mm,
who would say no, 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 I'm not gonna touch the oysters. But then you also have people who say, well, yeah, I mean you can eat it. So it's divided.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I tend to be more on the yes, you can eat oysters all the
Sure.
time.
It's good for you.
So,
Have you
yeah,
heard of like in the US there's an ongoing debate from vegans, people who all the time like
right.
just don't like whether or not they can eat oysters. And are there actually some vegans who say that for environmental reasons it's perfectly fine. You should be
Mm,
eating
mm.
seafood that is very sustainable. And then other vegans like, don't know. But I thought it was interesting too, like the oysters seem to be a loophole.
Yeah, yeah, I know because it's so good, right? So we
Yeah,
have to make
it's like good.
make rules around it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. Um,
yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah.
So let's see if there are any. questions, and I don't think I see any yet. So I'm going to keep going because I have a couple others. Now, for you personally, like when you go to the dock and you see, you guys have actually a huge assortment of oysters from around the world, right? Do you typically have a favorite place where the oysters are coming from?
Right. I hope my suppliers or seafood or oyster partners are not watching or hearing this. Yeah. Well, actually, our favorite, Julian and I, my husband, co-founder, is bluff oysters. We love the bluff oysters. They're so yum. And we made a trip to visit our salmon farm, the King Salmon Farms in New Zealand,
Mm.
with our suppliers. And then also at that time it was the season for it, and we had it at its peak, so it's so good.
Oh,
However, we did not get to go to the oyster farm, the Bluff Oyster Farm in Stewart Island. So we made it a commitment that that we're going to go back and we're
yeah.
going to go to Stewart Island where it's being farmed, and we're going to take it out of the water.
Oh,
And
yes.
our suppliers like, you know, come whenever. Yeah, we are. So we just really looking forward to the trip.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Well,
so good.
you answered my last question, which is like, where would you ever want to go to try the local oysters? And I imagine New Zealand
This
would
is
be it.
yeah. I would go to Bluff Oysters. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I mean, there's so many other places that we want to go. What about the oysters? I mean, we haven't actually tried the oysters. We want to go to the States, to the
mm,
US, and try different oysters along, the coast,
yeah.
to try the different, yeah, as well. And we would love to do that, but it would take time, so we have to really plan for
Sure.
it.
Well, when you make
But
a
we will.
plan, let me know. I'll go with you. I'll be your tour guide.
Yay,
I know
that
just
would be
about everybody,
lovely.
so it should be fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all the time we've got. So thank you so much for joining and chatting. I learned so much about Thai oyster culture, and now I'm gonna like have to do a write up about that story regarding oysters
Oh,
during vegetarian season. So thank you again. I'm gonna pull up if you guys want to follow the Doc Seafood on Instagram. Please do. You get a lot of amazing pictures and inspiration. I think it's also connected to your retail company Instagram as well, which is, by the way, all your photography is beautiful. It makes such a
oh, thank
difference,
you.
like you just see it's so delicious, and I get very jealous and sometimes a little mad that I can't eat it.
I'm so proud because all these photos are taken by us, our own staff. So,
Oh,
it
wow.
really shows because
Yeah.
they're passionate about the food, and it shows.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. My kudos to them. They do such a good job with presenting
oh,
your
thank you.
food.
Thank you.
So, all right. Well, I hope to talk to you soon and have a good rest of the weekend.
And you too. Have some breakfast afterwards.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Julie.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That was such a fun talk with Yeeran. I want to just give you a quick little link up too. So if you're in the US and if you just got hungry like I did, you can buy oysters directly to come to your door through this link, the oyster.guru/shop. I just made a database of all the oyster farms that are shipping direct. They have done it pre-COVID or are starting to do it now, but really they're just trying to keep afloat at this time. So not only will you get the freshest oysters possible, but you can also help these farmers out by buying online. And then next week, I believe that I have my special guests coming in from Costa Rica, Hong Kong, and New Zealand. So yeah, we will be talking about bluff oysters again then. And I'm going to post the live schedule at this link, oyster.guru/live. You can also you'll start finding the, live scheduling things on Facebook and YouTube as well, but I haven't put them up yet, probably later today. So thanks again for tuning in and see you next time.